Oh, hey, and it's you there. Huh, no wonder. Anyways, let's see what Nintendo has for us today. Do my eyes deceive me? My gosh. Burnout! Series AA keeps bringing back, but not really. Which is a shame because I have poured countless hours into this game when I got it for the PS3 back in late 2016 and basically 100% it in February of 2017. Those were the days. The only thing stopping me from getting 100% was one stunt run. Yeah, I was and still am pretty terrible at these, but I know a trick to assure most of the time you will beat it. See, first you're gonna start here, flat spin off this ramp, and then chain this little section, and then continue forward. This is how I basically beat almost all the stunt runs. I start with one, and then immediately book it to the location. When Burnout Paradise Remastered first came out in 2018 for the PS4 and Xbox, it received criticism for not looking that much different from its original release back in 2008. It could be because both versions are already at 1080p at 60 frames per second, or because, besides minor changes, they didn't really do much, either because the game was already perfect or they were just looking for a quick cash grab, while being lazy because looking at other remasters of the time. Yeah, let's just say they're being lazy. I love this game, and now that it's on Switch, I can play it anywhere, anytime I want. Speaking of which, let's get right into it. It's even better than I remember. And the visuals, dang, it looks really good. Going from the PS3 version to this, it's a phenomenal upgrade. Better textures, details, reflections, lightings, it all looks stellar and pleasing to look at. Even in handheld mode, it looks great. If not, a little better. I gotta really give it to Criterion. They really outdid themselves here. But I'm surprised that it came out when it did. When they revealed it in March, and the date just said 2020, I thought it would be later in the year, like in October or November, but it's out now. So when you start the game, it starts in a cinematic that you can't see it, but it does a good job at introducing you to the world. And from there, a guy named DJ Atomica, who was referenced multiple times in Burnout 3, he's a guy who guides you through the game and gives you hints and tips. How often you hear him depends on how fast you progress through the game. He makes random comments and comments on stuff after races or in events, whether you lose or win, which means after you beat everything, you won't be hearing much from him besides from when you do events you've already beaten. The gameplay and events are simple to understand. Races are simple enough. Go from point A to point B before anyone else. But the twist is that there's no barriers, no arrows blocking you off, telling you where to go. It's just you and your wits. And the street panels up here, but only users lose those. Real men don't need directions and know their way around Burnout Parrot. Dang it. You really need to know your way around Paradise City, especially since there's no barriers telling you where to go and turn. Really, the path you need to go might be right, but you go off-road thinking it's a shortcut and boom, you crash or you're just going the complete opposite way. Races are really fun and chaotic since you have boosts, and you could go really fast and make other players crash, or they can make you crash. Marked man events are basically the same as races, as in going from a point A to point B, but now you're being chased by a group of cars who can one-shot you like no tomorrow. These can be really tough, especially in the early parts of the game where you don't have a good enough car that can withstand a lot of crashing and damage before, because you will crash a lot, either from them making you or you crashing on your own from going too fast, especially if you have the speed type cars. And let me tell you, if you want real tense action, use the F1 racer. You even get an award for using it on a marked man. Burning Route or Island Tour on Big Surf Island are time trials set for a specific car, and beating it will unlock a special variant of that car, basically a superior version of that car. Stunt runs, they're the bane of my existence. There's a reason I can't get 100%. You need to know Paradise City inside and out, where all the ramps are, where all the billboards are, flat spin, barrel rolls, where's the best places to change stuff and not crash. Ugh. It's not impossible, but there's people who post videos of them speedrunning the game by taking out all the smash gates, billboards, or jump spots, or just all of them at once, and they're all pretty cool to watch. But I could never do all of that. The only one I was able to do on my own were the smash gates, and just barely. I cheated and used the guides for the jumps and billboards though. And finally, the main reason everyone plays Burnout, the road rage. Where boys become men and men become warriors, because here it's nothing but pure non-stop carnage and anarchy. As you destroy other racers to get to the top. Road rages are easily the best thing about Burnout. Some people would say it's crash mode, but that's not in this game. Well, it kind of is, but it takes the place of Showtime, and yeah, this qualifies as the crash mode. Fight me, Scott. In Showtime on consoles, you press the two top shoulder buttons, and on PC, you press S, and then you side flip, and then bam, carnage everywhere. As long as you can keep your boost up, which you do by crashing into cars, signs, and billboards. It's pretty fun. You can do it with any car, even the speed types, but it's not really recommended since it's a little harder, and speed type cars don't have a long boost bar, so it'll run out pretty quick if you're not careful. And then there's the power types car, which you could use in the game, and they're the best because their boost bars extend and they're pretty bulky, especially the Carson Inferno van. It's a tank because it handles like one and it hits like one, but it also means if you get bumped, well, good luck in regaining control. But anyways, when you're trying to get number one in all of the road reviews offline and online, it's pretty easy, but it gets a little boring, or at least for me. Oh, and in case you didn't know, the best time to do a Showtime is midday since it has the most cars. There's a lot to do in Burnout Paradise, whether it's going for all the road rules, billboards, jumps, events, gates. It could take a while for you to run out of stuff to do, especially with the sheer abundance of cars. 75 in the base game, and that's not counting all the DSC cars. And you could add another 73 cars since the main cars all have a police car equivalent, and you could just use that and pretend you're playing Hot Pursuit. There are three types of cars: stunt cars, which focus on balance, like good speed, strength, and boost, which are your cars which you can use in everything. Strength cars are power type cars, in which they sacrifice speed for power and are recommended for road rages, and not stunts. And speed cars, which focus on speed and are meant for races and marked man events. Don't use them in road rages though, since you get dropped in like 2 hits, and don't use them in stunt runs either, because while they are fast, you can only use the boost when it's full. Doing it all in one go or racking up points will cause a burnout, which immediately lets you chain boost chains together, and as long as you can hold it. My favorite cars to use are the Nakamura and GT Concept, because Skyline. Just listen to that turbo. And honestly, I find the GT Concept the easiest to control, but the later cars like the F1, Ubershot 8, and the V16 Revenge, these cars are just so fun to drive because of how fast they are. And honestly, racing games are some of my favorite games to play. Need for Speed, Midnight Club, Gran Turismo, and Grid Autosport. The best racing game on the Switch, at least until Burnout came out. But it's still the best racing sim on the Switch, despite the Joy-Con and Pro controllers not having any analog support. You know, unless your thing is like Gear Club. Yeah, I'm a bit of a car guy. Well, the only thing more inevitable than death and taxes is DLC and microtransactions in an EA game, and there definitely is here in Burnout Paradise. The Party Pack, and 3.5 years later, I still don't know what that is. Legendary Cars, which is cars modified to resemble famous cars from movie and TV, which is pretty cool. Time Savers Pack, which is unlocks everything. If you buy this, why even play the game? You miss out on the experience of racing for cars and shutting them down. Shutting down cars is really cool in its own right. Every now and then, after completing events, random cars enter town, and it's up to you to find them and shut them down. It's cool because you'll just be cruising down the road and then BAM! The chase is on. It keeps you on your toes whenever there's a car to shut down in the area, and it can be really tricky, as you can see here. But you don't get that if you get the time savers pack. It's basically pay to win, which really sucks to see it in a game like this, but I guess EA has to EA. The Toy Car DLC, which I'm pretty sure is unlocked when you get the Big Surf Island. The Boost Specials DLC, it's just cars with some more special boost. Cops and Robbers pack, I'm pretty sure this speaks for itself, and I'm pretty sure it also inspired the gameplay for Hot Pursuit. And the big one, Big Surf Island. I feel like I'm playing a mod that overhauls the game like a bunch of Skyrim mods, or just playing a straight up sequel. It feels pretty good, and it feels like I'm playing Burnout Paradise for the first time again, as in, it's get that sense of wonder and exploration, but it's also kind of tricky, and I crash a lot. I don't know if it's just the compact nature of the island, or just the cars themselves, but I find myself crashing way more than usual. But the thing that kind of sucks about it is that the races are ordered races, or checkpoint races, if you want to use that term. Unlike the main game where you get to the finish line however you please. Granted, you can still take shortcuts if you know how. And Big Surf Island is a little more action-packed in its jumps, like here on the bridge. You can also take the 9 island cars to Paradise City and vice versa, like here in this road rage. And naturally, we ended up back in Big Surf Island, but I just turned us back around. Overall, I've enjoyed my time with the island expansion that I've had with it. What does any racing game need, though? Music. And Burnout Paradise's soundtrack for me is weirdly just okay. There's not a lot of songs here that I could just replay over and over again. Most of them, to me, they're just okay. There's some notable songs that stick out that are really good, though. Paradise City, obviously. Going Through Changes by Army of Me. Epic by Faith No More. Later Hits, the JJA remix. I think that's what it was called. I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister. Fake It. And the best song in the game, My Curse by Killswitch Engage. And if you think otherwise, you're wrong. Come fight me in the street. I started playing Burnout Paradise around the time where my life was going pretty well. That would be from December 2016 all the way to the end of 2017. Yeah, 2017 was the best year for me personally. The Switch, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and even Battlefront 2, even though we didn't know it yet, because it took them 2 years or so for them to finally get it together. And I graduated, got my driver's license, and I'm going off topic now. And I'm still waiting for the Wii U Zelda ports to come to Switch. In the PS3 version, you're able to use music you have saved in your music library instead of the game's soundtrack, though. And I just use that 95% of the time. I never really dabbled with online because the PS4 was long out by that time, like 3 years, and all my friends already moved on to the PS4, so I was stuck with the PS3. But I did play a little bit of online on the PS3, and it was just okay. I don't have Nintendo Switch Online, though, because your internet sucks. Because it's player, and my internet sucks. And I played Smash Bros. Online once with the trial, and I got wrecked because the online and my internet sucks. Well, to the PS3 and... Can't say I didn't try. Burnout will always be one of my favorite series because of how chaotic it is with races and road rages, and because of that, Burnout Paradise will always be my favorite Burnout game, as well as my favorite racing game. Yeah, people really like 3 and would rather have that game be the one that was announced due to Burnout Paradise being released in 2008 and the remastered in 2018 originally, and to that I have to say, yeah, it would be really cool to have Burnout 3. I like it. It's a really fun game, but I still like Paradise better because it has an open world. And because of that, it's a shame that the series is dead and is only relegated to a remaster. And also because the game was followed up by Burnout Crash. Well, with that out of the way, I hope one day Burnout will be revived and get a proper sequel. But until then, I'll be playing Burnout Paradise on my Nintendo Switch. At least until Twilight Princess HD comes out.